It's an International. It's a 2016. The truck's pretty well loaded.
It's a fully loaded, secure armored truck that used to haul all of the money paid by Massachusetts commuters riding the T. Just one of 10 that hit the road each day until the MBTA privatized its cash collection money room operations and farmed it out to Brinks, making these trucks obsolete. That deal meant the trucks landed on the auction block in a move where 5 Investigates discovered they sold at rock bottom prices.
The MBTA is in a fiscal crisis, and that's the backdrop. Every dollar counts.
According to the bid documents we obtained, those money room trucks sold for pennies on the dollar. The T accepted the highest bid, all 10 trucks, for a total of only $87,000, even though they originally shelled out more than $1 million over the years.
Proof positive that they did a horrendous job with this auction.
Greg Sullivan is the former Inspector General and Research Director for the Pioneer Institute.
It was a big mistake that cost the taxpayers and the MBTA riders a ton of money.
Records show they took the biggest financial hit on 2 2016 trucks that were in excellent condition. They cost taxpayers $389,000, but sold at auction for only $20,000 each. 5 Investigates tracked those trucks and found them for sale on the open market. We hit the road and headed north, where they were on the lot at Liberty International in Manchester, New Hampshire. John LaRochelle pitched the sale.
Sale price?
$79,900.
That's 4 times the price the T unloaded them for.
The 2 2016 trucks sold for $80,000 each. That means each truck here sold for about the same price the T sold all 10 trucks for at auction.
Wow. I wish I was there.
Our budget deficit still...
News of the deal hits as the MBTA continues to battle a massive budget deficit. T General Manager Luis Ramirez touted the overall savings of privatizing the money room operations, but dodged the questions about the truck deal.
You think those tens of thousands of dollars would have been important for the T to get?
Like I said, we've had a great program with the cash room. We're saving a lot of money for the ridership.
2 trucks were brand new, about 5,000 miles.
I think it would really burn people to know that somebody bought these trucks, turned around, and made a small fortune while we sit here like a bunch of chumps.
And the T is reviewing its policies in the wake of our report. We'll have more on that at 7. Outsourcing the money room operations saves the MBTA about $600,000 a month, but this was a missed opportunity to save even more. And the trucks we tracked sold 4 times over since that auction.